my educational process.
Yeah, good.
Education.
Okay.
So my education in North Korea was ended after seventh grade. Sixth and seventh grade. We had sixth grade. We had English course because at that point they didn't have enough teachers for the Russians. And then seventh grade that there were more Russian language teachers available, so our foreign language was Russian that time. So I had 1 year of English course. So then after seventh grade, this war broke out and we moved to South Korea. That was so our life in South Korea started about January 1st of 1951. And we stayed in Koh Island in southern tip of Korea, and we lived in a refugee camp. That was a very hurriedly built, flimsy, big. We can call it the building, but it's a hut sort of, and we all slept in the dirt floor with the straws, spread out, and but we still felt we were lucky to have that kind of facility available.
How large of an island is that?
The island itself is probably 10 miles across and about 3 miles deep, I guess. And there were two large towns, one on each end. And we were assigned to further away town. So there we lived in that camp for maybe about 2 months or so, and then each family started looking for some, native families' living space. So they started to move out. So
did you say once that hut was homemade that you lived in?
Not the homemade. They were already the authorities they built get ready for it. But it's just a flimsy hut, right? Fortunately, the Koh Island is much south, so the weather was not as bitter cold as North Korea. So it was in that sense it was fortunate, and they provided rice and soup every meal. So we were thankful of that, and so our family moved out, searched and moved out in the even further countryside. One found farmer's house, and they had a small structure. It was say size of I don't know what that was for. They built maybe storage house. I guess it was size of 8 feet by 10 feet, and had a small cooking facilities in it. So our 4 members of family squeezed in, slept in that small space every night. And we had some belongings too, so it was a crammed, and we lived.
Was this farmer's house someone you knew, or was it
No, entirely strangers. But they were, in general, the people were so generous, tried to help these refugees.
Were you paying rent or?
No, nothing, nothing, and the authorities provided rice and some other food stuff, ration regularly. So we stayed maybe until about September of following year. So during that time, natives there, they had a middle school in that town, but we were no shape to think about me going to school that time. So that year was completely wasted. I couldn't go to school. And then my mother, she is basically very enterprising minded person, and she decided to make a trip to Busan. Busan was almost 1 day boat ship trip. They had this regular ferry boat going to Busan, which was maybe about 30 miles away or so, maybe. And so in Busan, there were a couple of our distant relatives living there as a refugee too. Busan was just crammed with these refugees from whole country, squeezed into that city, and so she was, visiting them, see any something to do, something economically, something. To search for anything to do, and she at that time, then in that island, not only these refugees, but the UN army set up POWs, the prisoner of war's camp in the island. There were big camp. Probably they held 30,000-40,000 prisoners of North Korean, soldiers.
On which island?
Koje
Oh, okay.
Island, the same island. That was probably about 5 miles away from our dwelling was. So when she went out to Busan, she was looking for some kind of a trade or some jobs they're looking for, and then she found out that there was some this forfeit cigarettes, and very Korea traditionally had the cigarette was nationally controlled organization was handling cigarette growth and sale. So these forfeit cigarettes were much cheaper price. So she bought maybe about 3 or 4 cartons of the cigarettes. She thought that they must have some way she can sell them in Ireland, and that did help. She, that this prisoners' camp had some employees living around there, and so there was some market there. So she started that trade, and so she started regularly going back and forth Busan, and this smuggled in this forfeit cigarettes. So that helped our family, and then eventually she decided, okay, we'll move whole family out to Busan. So, September or October, we moved to Busan, and we just barged into our relatives' house, and then
September, October of 1951.
51, yeah. Then so we stayed with them for a few days, and then decided to go out and in the periphery of town, in the hillside. There was some lands plots were selling, so built this very flimsy barrack house. Okay, the walls were cardboard. They had this military ration box made of this cardboard boxes, right? So used that material for the war. Okay, that kind of thing. So finally had our own house. The size was probably 10 by 12 feet. Okay, and then
So that was a homemade house.
House, yes, that's right. So we lived through that winter in that house, and stayed maybe a year or so more. And then mother started going out to marketplaces, selling vegetables and small stand in the middle of the street, and I was helping her and so on. So our living was gradually stabilizing in that way. So still, so that was then 1952 came. I still was not going school yet. When the system in South Korea was that the school year started in March in the spring. So that's about 6 months period. I still didn't go to school. Then, in February they have this, or the schools have entrance exam. High school entrance exam. I had the education up to 7th grade in North Korea. But the South Korean, schools, the high school was what, 8th grade, 9th grade, right? 9, 10, 11. 9, 10, no, 10, 11. No, probably I finished the 8th grade in the North Korea. And so there was a gap of about 2 years. I applied for 10th grade, that's a high school. That's in Korea, they call it high school, middle school. The 6, 7, 7, 8, 9 is 10, 11. It's a middle school, right? So I had 2 years middle school education, yet the high school education would be 10, 11, 12th grade. So I skipped 9th grade. Okay, and when I went, my parents still, thought they had to send me to school. So I looked around and then that time all these high schools entrance exams, entrance process demanding the donations, money. We couldn't afford that money. That was a big sum of money. But this Busan High School was native high schools there were a little different. There were a lot of these high schools from Seoul. There were about 10, 12 of them all moved down Busan, and they all had their own schools, and they had so much of this economic strains. They demanded the kids applying for the high schools money, but this Busan High School was a native high schools. They didn't have that much financial strains, so they didn't demand that much. Only they had a registration fee, which compared to other schools had much less. So I decided to apply for that. Okay. So I went their office, and then they were all in military tent, temporary classrooms, So the regular schools were all taken up by the government use or military use, so military barracks for that purpose. So I went there, and the office for the paperwork you require the graduation certificate from your school. So I told them I'm from North Korea. They immediately knew that my, the dialect. They know that. So he said that you go to Hamgyong province. That's where North Korean province I'm from. They had their office set up small space somewhere, and they were acting as authority of those people from that province, and go there, get the paper that's certified by them, bring it. So I went there, and we forged as if I graduated ninth grade, okay? Even though I just finished seventh grade, so I jumped, and eighth grade, jumped 1 year, and the school accepted that, okay. So I applied for the exam. They had a regular formal examination, okay, that included Korean language, English, math, science, so on. So I had this 1 year English background, okay, and while I was before that, about 2 months period, I went to night course somewhere in the marketplace. They had one tent, and they were teaching this English. And the textbook was the one being used for the South Korean, middle school kids. It's called the National English book named. So they had each 3 books, 1, 2, 3. One is first grade, 2 is the second, and the third. So middle school 3 years, they teach 1 each year. So I started from second one in every month. 1 month